Hola, ¿cómo están? Oigan, pues ya tiene varias semanas que no tenemos un MDWeekend Inspiration. La última vez que lo hicimos estaba Gabriel y Kevin aquí en Playa del Carmen. Todo una experiencia diferente de lo que habíamos venido haciendo pues a lo largo del año de las pláticas. ¿Cómo están? How are you guys? Tell me.
Fine here. Home. And alone.
Oh.
You guys, which sucks.
Kevin, I see you have your hoodie.
I have my hoodie on. It's not freezing tonight. I have the window open, but as you can see, it's dark now. It's daylight savings, or we're off daylight savings, whichever it is, but it's dark at 5 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
Here in Playa as well, it's like 6 in the afternoon and it's already like dark, and I don't like it.
No, I like 9 o'clock. The sun goes down. I like that in the summer.
Sí, me too.
But yes, here I'm back in South Carolina. The house is getting all boxed up. I'm preparing to move. I think all my clothes are in boxes, so I have to keep washing the same clothes over and over again.
Okay, well, but that's good. That's a whole new step, and I'm happy.
Yeah, me too. It's exciting.
Nice. Bueno, pues justamente estábamos platicando rapidito del horario. Pues Kevin está en Carolina del Sur, Gabriel en Ciudad de México, su servidor aquí en Playa del Carmen. Ya pues básicamente el horario es diferente para todos, pero ya está todo oscuro. Y pues aprovechando la oscuridad y aprovechando que nos estamos adentrando a a zonas de horarios de miedo, pues el día de hoy vamos a hablar sobre 3 películas que escogimos, que están basadas o se llevan a cabo, o pues sí, están basadas en libros de Stephen King, que son It, o Eso, Thinner, o La Maldición Gitana.
La Maldición Gitana. Pero creo que La Maldición Gitana era como en España y aquí nomás la dejaron La Maldición.
Ah, ok.
El hombre flaco.
El hombre flaco. But it's more like the gypsy curse.
Okay.
Y la tercera dijimos, ¿cuál era?
The Mist.
The Mist.
La niebla.
Ah, sí, es cierto.
¿Cómo lo pusieron? ¿La niebla?
La niebla, creo que sí.
And those are the 3. Well, it began with Gabrielle's idea of talking about Thinner, but those are the 3 Stephen King movies with the most makeup effects.
Okay.
In them. I mean, most of them have a little bit, but those are the 3 with the most. So.
Sí. Entonces, pues bueno, escogimos estas 3 películas, sobre todo porque hay muchísimas otras, muchas más películas basadas en libros de Stephen King, pero estas 3 son las que más tienen efectos especiales y maquillaje. Entonces, pues bueno, vamos a empezar con which one, guys, you want to start with?
Gabrielle, you want to start with Thinner?
Yeah, let's start with Thinner. Why not?
Okay.
So the story goes like this. We have a lawyer, which is a nasty lawyer, and he's fat. Not like really, really fat, but he's fat. And what I love of this movie is like all the characters here receive what they get or receive what they are. Mm-hmm. So it's like instant karma, you know? So this lawyer is very happy and he went out with his wife to dinner, and of course you drink, you have like a very amazing time. They are driving home and she decided to give him a blowjob. I can say that now.
Sí, claro.
It's too late.
I already said that.
I can edit it, but I'm not gonna do it.
Down.
Okay, cool. and he ran over a gypsy. I think it's the daughter. Of the chief of the gypsies, and of course this makes everything worse for everyone. But because laws are like that, the lawyer gets free. So the gypsy appeared in front of him and he said, thinner. So from that time on, our main character is just going to lose weight without knowing why.
Yeah.
So he was cursed by this gypsy, and he wasn't the only one with a curse. Also, the police officer and the judge who was following the case, both of them suffered horrible, eventually death.
Yeah.
So what I love and what I talked with Kevin when I was in Playa is that it's amazing how they work the makeup to make him look fat and then just goes right into the bones, because it's amazing the work of the makeup artist in that movie, because you are working with so little and you are trying to make someone look very, very thin, and I think it's amazing.
And that was Greg Canham, who is an extremely talented makeup artist who's been around since... He was one of the makeup artists on The Howling, alongside Rob Bottin. Greg's been around, since working since the 1970s. And he really excels at age makeups and natural looking. He could do all kinds of things, fantasy things and stuff, but like age makeups or light makeups, like the the Dick Cheney movie that came out a year or two ago, where Christian Bale was Dick Cheney.
The Machinist?
That actor, yeah, who was made up to look like the Vice President Cheney. There was a really nice makeup. He's really good at that, and so it's like, yes, his
The Last Hour, I was thinking, no?
The Darkest Hour.
Esa, The Darkest Hour.
Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah. The actor was Gary Oldman.
Yeah. In Darkest Hour, yeah, as Churchill.
Sí.
Awesome. Fucking amazing makeup. When you're watching it, it's like, I got lost in it because I'm a fan of, like, a history buff and that era of World War II and everything. And Gary Oldman, for one, is so good and performs so well in the makeup, just to digress for a second. And that makeup is just so good that it's almost like you're watching footage of Churchill sometimes. Like, you don't even think of it. And there's a guy covered with stuff, and it's not even like like a monster thing, or even a comedy nutty professor Eddie Murphy has like a big makeup on. It's very serious and very dramatic, and it's awesome. So that's Greg Canham, extremely talented guy. So the heavy makeup, the fat makeup on the actor to begin with, is like, okay, he can handle that fine, and anybody that's good at makeup can handle that. What's really interesting about the makeup to me is when he loses the weight and everything goes, and he gets just back to the actor, but then he has to go past that, and to add something to somebody's face to make them look smaller is like, well, that's pretty difficult to do.
Yes.
Obviously you have to build out the cheekbones and the eye sockets and things like that, but you have to be so super careful that you're not making it look
bigger.
big. He did such a good job.
Yeah, I think it's like two things, no? Or I'm not very sure, but it's like the anatomic prosthetics that you don't go too far to make it look like bigger. But also, like, the actor, I think, has to do this work of trying to lose a little bit of weight. And, and that is also, like, helping the composition of everything, no? And then also the color, like the makeup, what they do, like with the shadows and the lights. Those three things, I think, is the what they did or used to create this look, no?
Yeah, and to try to hollow out his eyes, his cheeks, and to try to light him, kind of to throw shadows to make him look that way. And even the subtle things in the sculptures, besides like the cheekbones, but it's like when somebody loses a whole lot of weight really fast and the skin is loose, and so he has all that stretchy, just like excess skin. It's like really good. It really sells it.
Yes.
And actually, the actor, he really lose weight, but not like too much weight. No, not like Christian Bale in The Magnus, for example. No.
Right.
So yeah, it's
because Christian Bale is crazy that he would actually go that far.
Yeah.
You know, you mean De Niro maybe like Raging Bull with his weight fluctuation in that is second, but no other actor is going to lose that much weight that it's like life-threatening.
Yeah, he's totally insane, because actually in American Hustle he did the opposite, because he just gained like this amount of weight that actually is like nasty.
Yeah.
He's crazy. It's amazingly crazy.
And then the other thing that they used to make him look, or to try to give the feeling of losing weight, it's the big pieces like of chest, no, when he pulls the shirt.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those are nice. I think it's just, I don't remember, but I think it's just one scene where he pulls his shirt up and then it's like, wow, and you can see like the bones and the ribs, no? That as well.
Yeah, and that was a good adaptation of a Stephen King novel, and it's actually pretty close to the book, from what I remember. It's pretty much the same story.
The other,
That's for the ending.
The other, why is the ending different?
In the book, actually, the one to try the pie is his daughter, right in front of him, and he was like, no, I can't just let my daughter die. So he grabs the pie and started eating it whole.
Right.
Okay. Well, in the movie it's the wife, no? And then the daughter eats it as well, but we never see that the daughter gets any curse or anything, no? Yeah, then there is another nice pieces of makeup or prosthetics with the lizard.
Yes.
The hands and the like half of the face, no, where he has this texture, like skin, like going back.
You would like that, like an iguana, like your makeup.
I was like watching the movie because, again, I'm so sorry, I hadn't seen it before. This was my first time.
Well, at least you watch it.
See, I always try to watch it. No, I didn't want to say anything, but I didn't have any time to see the third movie, so you guys will have to deal with that, you too. But I did watch this one, the Thinner, and also It, because I hadn't seen that either.
Which one? The first one or the last one?
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the characters, of course, but I've never seen the movies. For me, it's like sometimes difficult to watch them by myself because I do feel scared. So I was with both of them, like with Thinner and with It. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch them. I'm sorry. That's
when
the truth.
If we move on to It.
I only want to say something.
No, we're not moving to
Let's
It.
finish.
The pie. I love the pie. I love that he actually like, bubbles and moves. It's amazing. That's like very, very cute.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask Kevin like how the hell I see how did they do that? Like it's just like a foam latex thing and then you bump air.
It's like a puppet pie.
It's a puppet pie.
It's a puppet, basically. But instead of it being a creature or an animal, it's a pie, and there's probably air bladders inside, or maybe things or cables that make things moving.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really nice. The lizard guy, I really love the hands. I don't know. It's like I saw them and I was like just trying to understand the whole character and how they did it. And I'm sorry, but I have to say that at some point I did see an edge falling apart here from the fat guy. And also, I know. Well, we noticed because I was watching it with her. The clown made with blood. Well, when he runs over the gypsy girl, the gypsy lady, then you see the blood like all over the how do you say that, the crystal of the car,
the windshield,
and then he's like wiping it, and then you can see like a clown, and then you can, well, I thought of it. I don't know if you.
Well, it could be. I don't remember that, but it could be a little, what they call an Easter egg now, that they, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I really liked. I mean, it has some parts where I didn't like it, and I was like, okay, it's maybe some parts are not that good, but the whole, like you said, guys, like the whole makeup thing and the colors that they're like trying to do all these effects. It's really cool.
And you have to remember too that when Thinner came out was what year was that?
That was 80s.
Late 80s, early 90s, wasn't it?
Later 80s, no?
Yeah. My point is there was no computers doing anything. Every movie that's shot now, every TV show, every frame of film, if it's even on film anymore, everything is run through a computer. So everything is fixed, adjusted, cleaned up, tweaked, light corrected, color corrected, background put in. So back then it's like it was just 35 millimeter film. If you had a bad edge because you were shooting all day long and it happened to come up, and it's like it's just in the movie. And it's like, I'm sure the guys who did the makeup were at the cast and crew screening were sitting there going like, what'd they use that shot for? Look. It's like, damn it.
Yeah.
Now it's like everything is just cleaned up. I mean, you see how movies are shot now. It's a bunch of guys wearing spandex suits running around in front of a green screen, and then it looks like they're the Avengers. It's crazy the amount of post-production that's done now.
No, but as much as I could see like one edge in one scene, it's really nice also to see that at some point, because then you can feel the work, you can feel how they did everything, and it's just one scene, like it could be the whole movie. No?
There are some movies like that where it's like every scene is just you see edges.
So that talks about like the good work they did the whole movie.
Yeah, it's an incredible amount of very good work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And even the hair work, because of the wigs and everything. Yeah, it's tremendous.
Yes.
It's really, really nice.
Okay.
What is a shame is that they actually made a screening of that movie, and there was a makeup that had in this part all the sagging of the skin, like really, really deep. And people just said like that was too much, it was like too horrible to watch, and they changed that.
Really?
In order to really like look like so grotesque. And that's a shame because I haven't found the pictures of it.
That's interesting. Okay, because I know they did it a little, and I always wish that they had done more with it. So that's interesting that Greg's initial instinct was to do more, and then they had to tone it down. Huh? Okay.
Only because of the spinning, it was like too much for the audience.
Fuck them. They should have. It's a Stephen King story. It's a horror movie. It's like. Yes, it's horrifying, but it's too horrifying. So please make it slightly less horrifying. It's like,
yeah, weird things happen, but yeah, that's a shame. But
yeah,
if I find it, I will send it to you because I know you're going to really appreciate that skin.
Nice. Okay, so anything else from Thinner?
Gabrielle, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know Greg since I went to LA. My first job was to Howling, and Greg was involved in that, Greg Canham. And then I ended up working over at Captive Audience. That's where we did Pirates of the Caribbean and Passion of the Christ, and that was Greg's. And when you see the TV show Face Off, that's the Captive Audience shop where we worked. Van Helsing, and that was Greg's studio, and he would come in from time to time. He's always been very friendly over the years, and he's a nice guy.
Oh, nice to know that, and to know him a little bit through you.
Okay.
Okay, well, so that's Thinner. Then we have It, which is it is a long movie. Like now, well, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes, more something like that. And there is like the version, like the first one they did. It's in the 80s, right?
Yeah, it was actually 1990. It was a 2-part TV movie. At least in the States, it was a 2-part TV movie.
Okay.
Here we only found it in DVD.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But it would come on like say Monday night you would get part 1, and then Tuesday night you would get part 2. They used to do TV movies like that, and it's like, oh, and then they would show you a preview for tomorrow. And they did the same with The Stand that Stephen King wrote. They did a 4-part version, like mini-series. That was, instead of a TV movie, that was a mini-series, so you had like 4 or 5 parts.
Like
through the week.
Also, no?
Which one?
Road Red.
Yes. Yeah. And that was the thing, especially in the 90s, adopting King's books, because they were so
huge,
long, that you would have to kind of break them up into pieces to even try to get part of those stories, in a movie form. And that was what they had to do, was just break them up. So it was a 2-part. And the 1991 was pretty close, again, very close to the novel. The new one that they just did, they had to update it so that, because so much time had passed. So these weren't kids growing up in the 1950s, they were kids growing up in the 80s, I guess. But the TV movie had a lot of practical effects in it. Again, because it was 1990, there's no digital stuff. Bart Mixon was the makeup artist in charge of the It TV movie. And they did things, they did Pennywise the Clown on Tim Curry, who we talked about before in Legend. They did kind of things in the books. It's like these people were frightened by monsters they saw in the movies, and there were way more in the book. But in the TV movie, there was like a werewolf, and I think a mummy, and there was like just dead people, like zombies and stuff like that. And so it was what scared them as little kids, watching like it would actually come to life, because that's the way Pennywise works. It's like he knows like what scares you, and he can make you see that.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a lot of makeup effects in that.
What I love about this story, or I don't know how to, story, or the book, the movie, the concept is that they took super like simple things, like the balloons, and then it's just like they made it to make it scary, you know. And it's and I guess when you are, because I hadn't read the book, but I guess when you are reading it, it's like like every book, you just imagine something and then you make it yourself, like scarier in your head. But it's so different when you are watching a movie and you have to make it the same scary thing you thought when you were reading the book in a visual form. So that's something really nice in this movie. No, I cannot be the right amount of balloons or like how to you know, because it could be someone like, just, it says here that there are a lot of balloons, and then it will be like a party, and then you won't be like scared. But then they knew how to show it, how to express it, how to, I think it's
a very
really
difficult thing to translate from one medium to another, from a written novel to any kind of film things. It's almost impossible sometimes, like with Ray Bradbury stories and a lot of things like that. So I read it. I remember laying in bed and reading, and it's like, I have to go shut the front of the house up. And I lived in a house built in the 1920s in Los Angeles, and I was reading it, and I was creeped out, like walking up to turn the lights off, and then I had to walk back down a dark hallway, and I started laughing, and it's like, I love this. It's like this book made me, I know there's no spooky clowns are going to jump out, but it's like it got me all creeped out.
And also visually, like the clown, the whole thing. You close it. It happened to me. Like I closed my eyes and it was like, I can still see it. It's like
they did a really good job, as good a job as you can do to realize that stuff. But it's just, again, and I love reading. And so, and I love just how, like you said, that you imagine what it looks like. And you picture yourself walking through the woods, and all of a sudden there's a clown standing there. It's like, that's scary. But when you film it and show it, it's like, you can either be like, that's kind of creepy, or you're like, it's Tim Curry in a clown makeup. You know, it's just very difficult to get that. It's difficult to translate a novel to a film sometimes, especially like that fantasy kind of. Godfather, you can kind of do it. I mean, you can do it, but when it involves that much personal imagination, it's difficult.
Especially when it's like your own fears. No, because that clown is like just playing with the mind of the people with their own fears. So it's like. How can you translate that? I mean, of course it was possible, they did it, but it's amazing.
And also this thing that actually it has like all the town under his control, into his mind control, that's also difficult. And that's why like no many people like get it, because they are like, why aren't the adults just worried about all these disappearances and all these creepy things that are happening? And it's because in the book it's like very detailed about that, and if you see the film, you need to have like a little bit of background in order to understand that.
Yeah, King writes about that, where people kind of turn like we say, a blind eye, like they ignore like the evil that's going on, which Stephen King is very attuned to humanity, even though he writes crazy stories about monsters and ghosts and killer clowns. He understands people and psychology.
He has
and
to
how
for these.
people can. What's that?
No, that he has to understand it, because how can he write like that if he didn't understand it?
Well, you can write any kind of stupid comic book kind of horror movie, but he understands humanity in a way where he can see where people can accept casual evil. I'm living in a country now he wrote Dead Zone, which a major part of the plot is a psychotic president of the United States. Hello? The guy, he understands. He saw the future coming.
Yeah.
You know? But he really, you can understand that he, you know, when they kill the gay guys on the bridge, you know, and just people just let it go. And it's just that casual kind of violence that runs through that town. And it's not just that evil town. I mean, he obviously is an observer of humanity and of the world. And he picked up on that in his story, that kind of thing people can get away with, you know. And it just, he weaves that into this fantasy story, and that's what makes them so realistic. You know, you have to make that leap of faith that it's a fantasy story, but there's like that gritty level of reality is in there too. He doesn't shy away from putting that in there, like Dean Koontz or somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and
anyways, that's my.
No, it's okay, and it's I totally agree. It's also coming back to the clown. It's
nobody likes clowns.
No. Maybe that's why they.
One of my worst fears is clowns, actually. So.
And is it because of the movie?
It's very difficult to me. What?
Is it because of the movie or the book that you don't like clowns, or it's just?
Actually, it's because of the book.
See.
I read it. Well, I tried when I was like a little kid trying to read it, but I couldn't pass the Georgie's death, because I can imagine all the bones of this little boy just cracking one by one when he's just grabbing him and just pulling him under the sword. I just can't do that. So it's very difficult for me to just pass it and continue reading. So yeah, and also like seeing it, I mean, the performance, the teeth, the wig, the color, those eyes, that's just like perfect makeup for you to just fucking doesn't love clowns. They are just creepy.
I wonder if King thought like us that clowns are just inherently just creepy, you know, and you know they have a disgusting, dirty clown outfit on, and they're just like drunken bums wearing this makeup that work in who would do that for a job? It's like the most loser person in the world. Or was it like because it was John Wayne Gacy who used to dress up like a clown and murdered little kids? I think maybe that was his inspiration.
He actually said that at
did he?
Some interview that was his inspiration.
Because that would make that would make sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, because what's more horrifying than that? Like a guy dressed up like a clown murdering little kids, you know, that really happened. Okay, this is getting depressing. Gabrielle, did you ever finish the book? Did you ever read it all the way through?
Yes.
One of my
in all my life.
One of my favorite scenes is when, I forget, was it Mike in the library, and Pennywise shows up in the library, and he appears as Nosferatu, like a vampire, but instead of fangs, he has razor blades for teeth, and he's talking to him, and his lips start to slice up and fall off. That's what I was reading when I had to go turn the light off, and it was just like,
I don't know how could you just walk and turn the lights off. I was just like petrified with that.
But see,
I was like, what the fuck I'm reading?
but see that, okay, this is MDW Weekend Inspiration, and that inspired me that it's like, okay, that's thinking outside the box. That's fucking loco.
See?
I love that. I think that's awesome. You can't do that. You can never film it that way because you would never be able to see. And that's why reading is so cool, that it's like, yes, razor blades for teeth. And it's like, to actually physically make that, you can never do it. But it's like, try to do it. Like, strive to do something that disturbing if it's called for, you know. And it's like, that inspired me. It's like, damn it, okay. That creeped me out. It's like, okay.
To give us that image. When?
Well, see, that's the thing. It couldn't be, unless you took a picture, like a.
Yeah.
For one, you couldn't have the dialogue, and it would be difficult. Well, now you can do anything with digital.
No, without digital.
No. Don't. We can't cheat.
But it would be.
Do that.
It would actually. You could. You actually, Pennywise is Nosferatu makeup. We could do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Edit this part out. Don't tell anybody. Let's do this. We could do that, even if we manufactured like half scale razor blades so that they would actually fit. Or different, like full scale and then half. Okay, this part, the public doesn't see this. Let's try this.
Okay, well, after cutting that part.
It's very specific to the novel, but people will know. Okay, after cutting that part.
And also the other thing I like is the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
The teeth, it really makes it, I mean, it's all, without the teeth, it's all very scary. And now with the teeth, I would probably think that it will be like stupid, like a clown with those dentures. But no, it's actually scarier. It's like,
They did a nice job.
Yes.
With all
the color, like
effects
Gabriel said, no, like all the colors, the whites, the blue, and also like because also the actor makes it happen that way, no? This, yeah.
To me, the TV movie, and the two new movies, were just like, they're okay. The book scared me. The book creeped me out. The movies were just like, I just looked at makeup.
And I don't feel the clown in the new one is that scary, like from the TV movie.
And ADI did that one. Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff, the guys who did, Alien versus Predator and all those things. It's a nice makeup, and I kind of like it.
I didn't say it was a bad one. It's just that I don't feel it scares me that much.
Well, actually, it's pretty horrible. It's because for me, it's traumatizing either way because they are clowns, so it's difficult. But the thing that the actor can actually move his eye, just like going into this blind spot, I mean, that's a very cool thing.
They tried, yeah. I mean, that was interesting to make him kind of, we say like walleye, that he's looking out that way. And he's doing it because Tim Curry was like a man, Pennywise. He was this guy. In the new one, he's more like Pennywise is almost like a kid, like little, and he's always like, and he's got those like little baby rabbit teeth, and he's always like kind of being innocent until like all of a sudden he has like a big monster face or something. But they're trying to make it different than, you know, Tim Curry is like a grown up Pennywise, and this new Pennywise is like a little kid, I guess. I mean,
like childish.
Just to make the performances different. I understand that, you know.
Yeah.
But really, that's maybe there was more makeup in the movie. Mostly, it was just digital.
Because also the scenarios, like the art, and then like all the things they built it. They built it. That's como sea. They built. Yeah, it's like with the big like spider or whatever that was, arachnido, and the like the little door with the skeletons or the skulls. It has a lot of work as well.
There was a ton of work, and that's closer to the novel. That there was Pennywise was this alien spider creature that crashed onto the Earth a million years ago, and then the novel also has like a friendly turtle, and it's like this whole novel is like way so crazy. That it's like there's no way you could fit that into a movie. The new one,
what I like of the new
kind of
one
compressed it.
Is that they actually put Easter eggs about Madeline. Because in George's room, there's
he has like a Lego.
Yeah, a Lego
like
turtle.
a Lego turtle. Yeah.
That's nice, but you only relate to that only if you can actually finish the book.
Yeah.
Otherwise, or if you read like The Dark Tower. Otherwise, you don't know a lot of things.
I was just going to say it goes into The Dark Tower too with the turtle. Yeah, and which I love those books.
Are amazing. They are just amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, guys, something else from it.
To the Mist?
You will have to tell me that because I didn't see it. So, The Maze?
The Mist.
The Mist. The Mist.
Yes.
Okay.
It was and we're including this not because it's one of his best stories or one of the best movies, but it was Frank Darabont who created The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead on TV for the first season until AMC fired him. Frank Darabont directed The Mist, and it was not a short story, a novella, I believe, from Stephen King. And there's a military facility that's people know about in this small town in Maine, but they don't know really what they're doing there. And evidently they opened up some portal to another dimension, and the mist sweeps over the town, and inside that mist are creatures and monsters from another dimension that now are taking over the world. And it's kind of a Dawn of the Dead situation where everyone it was just after kind of like a hurricane went through, and they're cleaning up, and they all go to the grocery store to buy new supplies, and the mist rolls over the town, and looking out of the front door, it's just nothing but super thick fog. And when people try to go out there, blood sprays back against the window. It's like you get killed. And eventually the giant bizarre insects the size of like a dog fly up, like a mosquito the size of a dog, is on the window looking around, and all these crazy things are out there. And they have to start barricading the store. And K&B Effects, who do The Walking Dead, again, another connection to that, did all of the makeup effects and the puppets and everything for that. And if you watch The Mist, you'll see from the early seasons of The Walking Dead, there's a couple of actors in there that Darabont took from The Mist and put into The Walking Dead.
What year is that?
And so it's
2007.
2000. Was it 7?
2005?
Yeah, like right around there. 7.
Huh?
Well,
No, I was
2000
thinking-
something.
I went to see it. Yeah, around 7. Yes.
Okay. And which is the most particular or nice or well done, like the puppet or from these creatures that you are mentioned?
Well, the insects were good, but it was also a combination. Gabrielle, it must have been after 90. I mean, obviously it's after 90, but maybe because it was a combination of digital and animatronic stuff. So it had to be, like 2009. Because all the tentacles that came in under the door
They are digital, no?
were digital.
They are part of heart, no? Half and half.
They would do practical effects on the actor, like if a digital tentacle came in and grabbed him with a bunch of claws and like ripped him up, on the actor there would be all kinds of rigs that would like rip open, almost like a squib if you got shot. Mm-hmm. They would pop blood open and they would put on this animated digital tentacle on top. So it was a really nice combination. The insects were interesting. I like that, and it was just, and the spiders when they went into the store, like one door over, and they go in and the spiders spin their webs. It's creepy. It's a lot of work.
So it's more
but you
like,
can see it was shifting all to digital.
It's more like puppets and suits or animatronic stuff. Is there any like makeup?
Puppets. Not specifically in that one. It's more of the puppets and the animatronics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I promise I will watch it.
You should, because there are also like parts of humans, like these legs that just leave like this stain of blood. It's actually cool. The color of the blood, I also like it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that movie, and it's just it's one of those things where, it makes sense, again, as a semi-low budget movie. It's just, you're in basically one location. You're just in a grocery store. The only thing I don't like about it is the very ending of it. That's different than the book. But I get what they tried to do, which I'm not going to say because Ellie hasn't seen it yet. So
no, go ahead. There are probably more people that it's going to watch our video that haven't seen it. So
in the book,
Spoiler alert!
In the book, there's a scene where they're driving away. They finally run out to the parking lot and get into a car, and they drive away. And they see this, like a brontosaurus dinosaur that's like a mile high.
Okay.
And it's like, oh my God, it's like it's getting worse. Like they're big. It's like this is endless, like H.P. Lovecraft kind of, things are happening here. And that was kind of the end of the novella. And there's like, and it's like, it just left it. Should I say the end of the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want. I don't mind.
Okay, so the main guy, and he has his little son next to him. The wife has been killed. Everyone is dead, and he has a couple of people, and he has a gun. And it's, I'm going to spare you from being killed by all these monsters. And so he shoots them all. And he's like super sad, and he's, and then like all of a sudden he looks up and there's a bunch of soldiers coming towards him with tanks and flamethrowers, and they're burning up all the monsters. Like if he waited one more minute, everything would have been fine. And to me, it was like, it's like, you're an asshole. it's like you went through the whole thing as a hero in the movie, and you just kind of look like a dope now. You just shot your kid. I get they wanted to make like this, like, oh, he's racked with guilt kind of ending to it, but it was just like,
Kevin.
For me, I can say that it's like as bad as the book, because in the book, yeah, it's just finished there and that's it. Like, you just can't show me this monster thing and not tell me anything else.
Well, that's what King does sometimes. He does it a lot of times, where he leaves you. It's like, that's their world now, and I leave it to you. And that was like, he runs out of juice, and he admits it. It's like, I just ran out of story, but I thought it was good enough to share. And he's like, and he always says, like, dear readers, it's like, I hope you like this. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But it's like, that was the end of my story.
He
and it's like, you
always
motherfucker.
has bad endings. He always does that. I needed to say it. Now it's said.
No, I think you said it before already. I remember another weekend inspiration that we had, and you said it as well. Yeah.
Because
they are frustrating. He can be and I'm a huge fan. Obviously, we are, because we're talking about it. But he can be very frustrating sometimes, and that's why I loved the end of Dark Tower, when Roland has the horn, and he's not going to drop it, so he won't repeat that cycle again. He will actually win the next time. That I wanted King to write like another 8 books with Roland winning. I was so invested in that story, but
well, we have talked about those 3. Tell me if we have to add something more.
Well, I need to add that the look of the mist, I mean, all the amount of mist they need to put on that movie, like, it's just insane, because you can't control that, and you are asphyxiating your own crew, basically. So, yeah, you can actually see them with their masks, wearing the masks, because it was like a lot of gas there.
And
also,
masks that you could buy from MDW, by the way, and if anyone.
See.
That's true.
Just saying. If you have to work on a movie with a lot of fog,
come with us.
Where?
Coming.
Okay. I was gonna ask, like, is it just like, well, like you said, Gabriel, that it's difficult to control that that amount of mist or fog, whatever. But I guess there are some parts of the movie where they filmed outside and inside, no? So maybe the outside parts are the most difficult ones to control.
Yeah, mainly because you can't control the wind. So yeah, all that was in the outside, which was like, I think, like just a couple of sequences, not like a lot of them.
Which I think were digital. Mostly looking out of the grocery store, it must have been on a soundstage that they could kind of put the fog in and blow it around, and you're only seeing like 20 feet, maybe.
Okay.
But still, painful to work like that.
Yeah.
And also the characters. I mean, there are amazing acting in that movie. Especially the nun. I don't remember her name.
The crazy religious.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
amazing.
And again, that's in the book, in the novella, and that's Stephen King that picks out. It's like the most righteous, perfect person in the world is actually the most evil person in the world, you know, and. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And he called it out. So.
Nice. Well, now I do want to watch it.
You should. There's actually a TV series, which is pretty boring. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it because they're just in a mall, and everyone kind of sits around and talks about if they see like a past problem in the mist. There's no like monsters. It's extremely boring. I think it
no
only
monsters, then it's boring.
1 season or 2 seasons, but yeah, don't bother with that. But the movie is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also another thing that doesn't really need to, it's about makeup, it's more about how they did it, is that they were filming with 2 cameras at once. But the cameras have all the liberty in the world to move around the actors. So that's really, really, really amazing. And that's another way to shot a movie. Because they are not restrained. You know, there's no like, oh, we're going to shoot this scene and that's it, cut. No. It's all the action that is passing, the camera is just going everywhere.
Right.
So that's amazing.
Shooting 2 cameras simultaneously makes so much sense to me that once I saw that people had done that, it's like, oh my God, of course. Like, not for everything, but for a lot of things, it's like, why would you only shoot one side at a time? Why not do and just cut between that? It's the simplest thing in the world. I'm such an idiot. It's like, of course, it's brilliant, and it's so simple, you know, and you just cut back and forth between them.
It's simple at some point because the director has like 2 monitors in front of him, one with camera A, the other one with camera B, so it's a little bit difficult to keep up with.
Right, but you can.
Happening in both.
But you can edit later. But if you have it both, if you could do both simultaneously, and you don't have an actor acting and someone, either the other actor talking or someone reading script lines to him, you just shoot A and B together.
Exactly. Exactly. So you have like these bunch of people.
Of course.
Acting at the same time and having the same level of energy. That's just
right.
Amazing. That's masterful. So
that's. I mean, in the past it couldn't be done because cameras were huge, bulky machines. I mean, now you could do it on a GoPro. You have 2 GoPros and shoot it, and it's all 4K, you know, or whatever. It looks fine. But yeah, that's genius. Okay. I will say one thing.
Dilo, say it.
Because I am a fan of reading. I love to read, and I love movies. I love both. And I do not understand people that don't like to read, but whatever. And it goes back to Ellie, what you were saying, that you can make in your mind something much scarier than you could ever film. And like we said before, I give all the credit to the guys on the crew that, you know, made a clown makeup and he stands in the woods, and the cinematographers, you know, to film it, it's like, oh, he looks creepy, but it's never going to be as creepy as what's in your mind.
Exactly.
With this, if I was walking like here in South Carolina and I went walking in the woods and all of a sudden there's like, hey, there's a clown holding a balloon. It's like what the fuck? You know? You know.
Yeah.
But they did their best.
See.
But just to talk about Stephen King, because this is Weekend Inspiration. And I want to inspire some people maybe to read a little bit more. Watch these movies. There are some good movies made from Stephen King novels. Most of them are horrible. Most of them are impossible. to translate, like we talked about way back in the beginning. Carrie, the 1976 Carrie that Brian De Palma directed, is a great movie. It's really, really well done. They redid it with Chloe Moretz.
No.
She's too pretty. Carrie is supposed to be just like a kind of homely,
an ordinary girl that doesn't have
just
any friends and she's ugly. That's it.
Yeah. And Sissy Spacek, she wasn't chubby, but she was just kind of funny looking. Great actress, amazing actress. But just kind of, and she played it so great.
And the mother.
Oh yeah,
The mother.
Piper Laurie played the mother, who was a crazy religious fanatic. And Piper Laurie, you go back 20, 30 years before, Piper Laurie was a gorgeous, like Hollywood ingenue type, but she's like a crazy old mother in that movie. The remake, I haven't seen. I don't care. Chloe Moretz is like a super pretty girl. It's like, why would she be Carrie? But anyways, watch Carrie and read Carrie. Dead Zone. The Dead Zone. David Cronenberg, who directed Videodrome, many things. It's a great movie, and that's the one where Christopher Walken plays a guy. If he touches you, he can kind of go into your mind. He goes to a political rally one day, and he shakes like the guy who's running for president. He shakes his hand, and he sees this guy is Donald Trump. Basically, he's psychotic. He's a lunatic, and so he now devotes his life to try to stop this guy. And Cronenberg made it. It's a great novel, and it's a great movie. I'm running through The Shining. The Kubrick Shining, not the TV movie one, the Kubrick Shining. And Stephen King hated it because he changed it so much, but it's like, it's still...
That's why it's amazing, because actually what Kubrick did was just take all what was The Shining and
adapted it to a film. Exactly. And he shouldn't have been upset. He should have just accepted it, that it's like two different mediums.
Exactly.
You can't, it's not going to be a direct correlation. Christine is good.
Yeah.
John Carpenter directed that, about the car, the haunted car. It's a minor one, but it's done really well. John Carpenter, when he still cared about directing before he gave up. And then two movies directed by Rob Reiner, who was an actor, and his father was Carl Reiner, who was an actor and a director who I worked with once. Misery and Stand By Me. Rob Reiner directed both of those, and those are both Stephen King books, and they're both complicated types of stories that were really well done as movies.
Yes. Okay. Misery is my favorite of all the movies.
That's
by the Stephen King books.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's like it's really Stephen King like lashing out at his obsessive fans, I guess.
I think he puts like a lot of things he had lived through the years in that.
Yeah. That it's like if you actually had me, you would do this to me, and it's like I love you, but I hate you at the same time.
I think because you're fine now.
Yeah. But they're so well done. They're so fucking, especially Misery is like so creepy when you watch that. And it's so gratifying and so satisfying at the end when he takes the typewriter. The instrument his tool of life, and he kills her with the typewriter, which is K&B effects again. They made the fake heads of the.
Really?
Yeah, and he bashes on those fake heads, and you're like, yes. Some can translate. Some filmmakers can actually do it, and some stories actually lend themselves to be translated. Some just don't. I guess that's, the lesson that we're talking about tonight. Sometimes it's better to read it, but sometimes you can get it across.
Yeah, but I think you need like a specific director for that.
Yeah.
También.
A director that actually reads, understands what he's reading, and not to be afraid of giving his own into the story.
Well, it's like Coppola with The Godfather. I mean, most of the novel is just thrown out, but he saw gold in there. It's like, fuck, this stuff is great. This stuff where Sonny's cock is too big, it's like when forget that. But there's other stuff with the mafia, and that went in and it made like arguably, one of the best movies ever made. Because Coppola could do that, and some directors can do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because again, it's just such a different experience reading a book or watching a movie. So it's like, you gotta know. And that's why King should have let Kubrick, give him a pass. You're making a movie.
Yes.
Totally.
Okay, guys.
I miss you guys.
Oh, we miss you too. We will do again all the three of us together.
Yes.
One day.
We will.
Okay. Well, it was really nice, and I actually felt this one like very inspirational. It actually did make me feel to watch this movie that I didn't watch for the mist. But also, I really love when we can talk about some other stuff like reading a book, no? Like
That's where inspiration comes from.
Of course, yes.
It's like walking in the woods, reading
and
a
also
book.
because, like we said, no? The inspiration comes from those, like reading a book. It doesn't matter if it's terror or fantasy or a novel or a real like a story of a real life of a person, whatever. But basically, when we want to design a character or a look or whatever, we really need those things from other, not only movies, not only TV shows. And we have been talking about a lot of these movies to give inspiration to the people that like to watch us. But also, I think it was a good thing that we mentioned this, or we start with Stephen King to say, to find inspiration in some other things like books, no?
Like books and not to be so specific about anything. Like I don't have to be inspired by The Mist, or I don't have to be inspired by it. But just be inspired by the way the man, like we're talking about Stephen King's mind. His mind works. This is open to, you could see something and be inspired by that. He's inspired by random things.
Claro.
And just that, let your mind be open, and art can kind of flow through that. Just don't close down. Just look at the world around you, look at life, and
exactly.
Art is inspired from that. as it always has been, I guess.
Nice. I liked this one. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Well, let's think about the next inspiration, and we will see each other again.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, I send you big hugs.
Hugs, kisses.
Okie doke.